All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Sunil Verma and with me is Saira Mujtaba. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for bringing investment and new technologies for strong agricultural sector. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to make statement in Rajya Sabha today on present situation in eastern Ladakh. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha to resume general discussion on union budget. Election Commission team to visit Puducherry today to review poll preparedness. Government tells Twitter lawfully passed orders are binding on any business entity and must be obeyed. Rescue and search operation for people trapped inside the tunnel at Tapovan area in Chamoli district continues unabated. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these three simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. The Lok Sabha passed the motion to thank the President for his address to both Houses of Parliament after the Prime Minister's reply to the motion yesterday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi appealed to the farmers to come to the table for talks so that a solution can be found. Mr. Modi said he's surprised why people are asking about the need for the new farm laws since farmers never asked for them. He said Lok Sabha as well as the centre respect farmers who are voicing their views on the farm laws, and this is why topmost ministers of the government are constantly talking to them. He pointed out that after the laws relating to agriculture were passed by Parliament, no mandi has shut and MSP has also remained.
ये देशवासियों के लिए है। अगर कोई निर्णय करते हैं तो किसानों के लिए है, लेकिन हम इंतजार करते हैं, अभी भी हम इंतजार करते हैं कि वो अगर कोई चीज स्पेसिफिक बताते हैं और अगर वो कन्विंसिंग है तो हमें कोई संकोच नहीं है। ये ऑर्डिनेंस के द्वारा ये तीनों कानून लागू किए गए, बाद में पार्लियामेंट में भी पारित हुए। कानून लागू होने के बाद न देश में कोई मंडी बंद हुई है, न कहीं एमएसपी बंद हुआ है। इतना ही नहीं, एमएसपी की खरीदी भी बढ़ी है और ये कानून नए बनने के बाद बढ़ी है।
Speaking on the importance of the private sector, the Prime Minister said the culture of abusing the private sector is no longer acceptable, and this is akin to insulting the youth of the country. He said private sector's role can be seen everywhere, including telecom and pharma. Mr. Modi said if India is able to serve humanity, it is also due to the role of the private sector. He said agriculture sector will not be strong if investment and new technologies are not brought in.
हमारे देश में खेती में निवेश जो होना चाहिए वो नहीं हो रहा। सरकार उतना कर नहीं पा रही है, राज्य सरकारें भी नहीं कर पा रही हैं और किसान खुद भी नहीं कर पा रहा है। जब तक हम निवेश नहीं लाएंगे, जब तक हम हमारी खेती को आधुनिक नहीं करेंगे, हम जब तक छोटे से छोटे किसान की भलाई के लिए व्यवस्थाएं विकसित नहीं करेंगे, हम देश के एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर को ताकतवर नहीं बना सकते हैं। और इसलिए हमारा किसान आत्मनिर्भर बने, उसको अपनी उपज बेचने की आजादी मिले, उस दिशा में हमने काम करने की आवश्यकता है। और हमारा किसान सिर्फ गेहूं और चावल वहां सीमित रहे, उससे भी बात बनने वाली नहीं है। दुनिया में मार्केट क्या है, आज उसके रिसर्च हो रहे हैं। उस प्रकार की चीजों का उत्पादन करें और वो चीजें दुनिया के बाजार में बेचें।
Mr. Modi said a new world order is being shaped post-COVID, and it is for the people of India to decide whether they want to take the lead in forming this new world order. He said India has emerged as Atmanirbhar, self-reliant during this pandemic.
हम वर्ल्ड वॉर के बाद एक मुख्य दर्शक के रूप में बदलती हुई दुनिया को देखते रहे और अपने आप को कहीं एडजस्ट हो सकते तो करने की कोशिश की। लेकिन आज पोस्ट कोरोना जो नया वर्ल्ड ऑर्डर तैयार होगा और होना ही है, किस रूप का होगा, कैसा होगा, कौन उसको इनिशिएट करेगा, वो तो वक्त बताएगा। लेकिन दुनिया ने जिस प्रकार से संकट को झेला है, दुनिया इस पर सोचने के लिए मजबूर हुई है और होना है। ऐसी स्थिति में भारत विश्व से कट करके नहीं रहता। भारत एक कोने में गुजारा नहीं कर सकता। हमें भी एक मजबूत प्लेयर के रूप में उभरना होगा।
He said India cannot be a mute spectator anymore, but has to emerge as a strong powerhouse. The Prime Minister said the world post-COVID is turning out to be very different, and remaining isolated from the global trends in such times will be counterproductive. He stressed that is why India is working towards building an Atmanirbhar Bharat, which seeks to further global good.
आत्मनिर्भर भारत इस विचार को बल दे और ये हम मान के चले, ये किसी शासन व्यवस्था का विचार नहीं है, ये किसी राजनेता का विचार नहीं है। आज हिंदुस्तान के हर कोने में वोकल फॉर लोकल सुनाई दे रहा है। ये आत्मगौरव का भाव आत्मनिर्भर भारत के लिए बहुत काम आ रहा है और मुझे विश्वास है कि हम सबकी सोच, हमारी नीतियां, हमारे निर्णय भारत को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के लिए जो भी आवश्यक बदलाव हो, उस बदलाव की ओर होने चाहिए, ये मेरा मत है।
The Prime Minister alleged that those who are disrupting the House are doing so as per a well-planned strategy, but their lies will soon be found out by the public. Mr. Modi thanked the large number of women MPs who took part in the discussion in the House. He called it a great sign and congratulated them who enriched the House with their thoughts. He said President Ram Nath Kovind's address showcased India's Sankalp Shakti and his words have boosted the spirit of confidence among the people of India.
राष्ट्रपति जी का भाषण भारत के 130 करोड़ नागरिकों की संकल्प शक्ति का परिचायक है। विकट और विपरीत काल में भी यह देश किस प्रकार से रास्ता तय करता है और रास्ते पर अचीव करता हुआ आगे बढ़ता है, ये सारी बातें विस्तार से राष्ट्रपति जी ने अपने अभिभाषण में कही है। उनका एक एक शब्द देशवासियों में एक नया विश्वास पैदा करने वाला है और हर किसी के दिल में देश के लिए कुछ करने की प्रेरणा जगाने वाला है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that sustainable development can only be achieved through togetherness and innovation. Inaugurating the World Sustainable Development Summit 2021 last evening through video conferencing, the Prime Minister said the health of the people and the health of the climate are interlinked and these two will decide our future.
I am happy to be speaking at the World Sustainable Development Summit. This forum completes 20 years. My congratulations to TERI for sustaining this momentum. Global platforms like this are important for our present and our future. Friends, two things will define how the progress journey of humanity will unfold in the times to come. First is the health of our people. Second, the health of our planet. Both are interlinked.
He said investment in youth is the need of the hour. The Prime Minister said the energy of the youth will lead to outstanding results. He said India is focused on human-centric approach. The Prime Minister added change in environment and climate affects the poor the most and India is on track to achieve the target it had set in Paris.
India's intent is supported by concrete action, powered by spirited public efforts. We are on track to exceed our commitments and targets from Paris. We committed to reduce emissions intensity of GDP by 33 to 35% from 2005 levels. You will be happy to know that a drop of 24% in the emission intensity has already been achieved. There was a commitment to achieving about 40% cumulative electric power installed capacity from non-fossil fuel based resources, and the share of non-fossil fuel sources in installed capacity of electricity today has grown to 38%.
The theme of the summit is redefining our common future, safe and secure environment for all. Speaking on the occasion, Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Prakash Javadekar, reiterated that India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi is leading the world in climate change action and the nation is fulfilling its climate commitments and targets well before time.
We have reduced emission intensity, we have increased forest, we have also given new target of restoration of degraded land, and with 90 gigawatts of renewable, we will definitely achieve target given by Prime Minister of 450 gigawatts. This will give India a leading position.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address BJP MPs at 11 a.m. today on the death anniversary of party's ideologue Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said that the life and mission of Deen Dayal ji inspires us all.
Both the Houses of Parliament will today resume discussion on Union Budget for 2021-2022. Yesterday in the Lok Sabha, Congress MP Shashi Tharoor initiated the discussion on the budget. He said that it is unfortunate that considerable financial support has not been provided to the armed forces in the budget. He alleged that the government is trying to deceive people and added that citizens have been left disappointed. Meenakshi Lekhi of BJP said the budget has provisions for all sections of society, senior citizens, women and youth. Dayanidhi Maran of DMK, Professor Shugato Roy of Trinamool Congress, Arvind Ganapath Sawant of Shiva Sena, Supriya Sule of NCP and Sangeeta Azad of BSP participated in the discussion. They raised issues of privatization of public sector, rising prices of petrol, fiscal deficit and farmers' protests. Taking part in the discussion, Hema Malini of BJP termed the budget dynamic and visionary and said that it will lead the country on the path of self-reliance. Dinesh Chandra Yadav of JDU, Vanga Geeta Vishwanath of YSRCP also participated in the discussion. Rajya Sabha began discussions on the union budget yesterday. BJP MP Sushil Kumar Modi delivered his maiden speech. He said the budget lays the roadmap to build a strong and self-reliant India. Earlier, initiating the discussion, Kapil Sibal of Congress said that the budget fails to talk about the issue of unemployment. He charged the government for indulging into excessive privatization.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah will visit Chirang district in Assam today. Official sources said that he will meet the founder of the Greater Kuch Bihar People's Association, Anant Roy. Assam Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal, Finance Minister Hemant Biswa Sarma, State BJP President Ranjit Kumar Das welcomed him at the airport last night on his arrival in Guwahati. Union Home Minister and Senior BJP leader Amit Shah will be visiting West Bengal today. He is scheduled to flag off BJP's Parivartan Yatra from Kuch Bihar in North Bengal before addressing a public meeting at Bangaon Thakur Nagar in North 24 Parganas.
Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will make a statement in Rajya Sabha today regarding the present situation in eastern Ladakh. Our Beijing correspondent reports that Chinese Ministry of National Defence, in a written statement on its website yesterday, said that the Chinese and Indian frontline troops at the southern and northern bank of the Pangong Tso Lake have started synchronized and organized disengagement from yesterday. The statement, quoting Chinese Defence Ministry spokesperson Senior Colonel Wu Qian, said the move is in accordance with the consensus reached by both sides at the 9th round of China-India co-commander level meeting.
The two-day visit of Full Election Commission to Tamil Nadu to review poll preparedness will conclude today. The Chief Election Commissioner, Sunil Arora, will address the media this morning. Meanwhile, all major parties have unanimously demanded that the Election Commission conduct the assembly poll in a single phase. Speaking to the media after meeting the Chief Election Commissioner, Sunil Arora, political party representatives told that the celebration of Tamil New Year's Day could be considered to decide on the dates of the poll. A report.
BJP appealed for the deployment of central forces in sensitive booths and also for webcast in all the polling booths. Some representatives had expressed concern on the government advertisements and announcement of schemes while on election mode. Discrepancies in electoral roll, lack of protection for strong rooms and the limited period of counting of votes was also put forth to the Election Commission. The individual meeting of party representatives went on for 2 hours. In the afternoon today, the Commission will meet the police officials and have a meeting with the State Chief Secretary and secretaries from other departments before departing for Puducherry today. Joy, AIR News, Chennai.
An 8-member team from the Election Commission of India, ECI, will visit Puducherry today to review the preparedness for the assembly elections to be held in April or May this year. The team comprises Election Commissioners Sushil Chandra, Rajiv Kumar, Secretary General Umesh Sinha, Deputy Election Commissioner Chandra Bhushan Kumar and 3 more senior officials of the Commission. The team will hold talks with recognized political parties, DEOs, SPs, CEO, police, nodal officers. In Uttarakhand, rescue and search operation for the 25 to 35 trapped people inside the tunnel continued unabated through the night at the Tapovan area of Chamoli district. The flash flood had hit the power project at Tapovan on Sunday morning. Till date, 34 bodies have been recovered and around 170 people are still missing. AIR correspondent covering the calamity reports that agencies are now looking for other ways to reach deeper inside the tunnel to people feared to be trapped inside for the last 4 days. Here is more from our correspondent.
Rescue team comprising ITBP, NDRF and other agencies cleared the slush whole night. They moved ahead, cutting the loose ends of pipes and wires of the tunnel, taking help of the tunnel authorities in marking of the tunnel inside. Late night DGP of State Ashok Kumar said that the rescue teams are now going to start the drilling operation to peep into the tunnel 12 meters below. Yesterday, a high-level meeting of all agencies involved in rescue and search operations was held in Joshimath to review the rescue and search strategy ahead, since it has become very difficult to move in the tunnel due to big boulders and backflow of slush and water. Meanwhile, Governor of the state, Baby Rani Maurya, will visit the calamity site this afternoon and take stock of the situation. With Raghvesh Pandey from Dehradun, this is Sushil Chandra Tiwari for AIR News, Joshimath.
Yesterday, MP from Uttarakhand and BJP National Media Head Anil Baluni raised the issue of natural calamity in Chamoli district in the upper house.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for bringing investment and new technologies for strong agricultural sector. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to make statement in Rajya Sabha today on the present situation in eastern Ladakh. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha to resume general discussion on Union Budget. Election Commission team to visit Puducherry today to review poll preparedness. Government tells Twitter lawfully passed orders are binding on any business entity and must be obeyed. And rescue and search operation for people trapped inside the tunnel at Tapovan area in Chamoli district continues unabated. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
The government has said that a total of 68,26,898 beneficiaries were vaccinated for COVID-19 till 6 p.m. yesterday. Briefing media in New Delhi, Joint Secretary in the Health Ministry, Dr. Mandeep Bhandari said, till now, 56,65,172 healthcare workers and 11,61,726 frontline workers have been vaccinated. He said yesterday a total of 2,15,133 beneficiaries were vaccinated till 6 p.m. A total of 127 new confirmed cases of coronavirus infection were reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to over 6,36,000.
In Bihar, the total number of people who have got the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine in the state crossed 4,29,760. No side effect from the vaccine was reported from any part of the state. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has assured his Canadian counterpart, Justin Trudeau, that India would do its best to facilitate supply of COVID vaccines sought by Canada. The Prime Minister received a telephone call from Mr. Trudeau last evening, in which the Canadian leader informed about his country's requirement of COVID-19 vaccines from India. Mr. Modi assured Mr. Trudeau that India would do its best to support Canada's vaccination efforts, just as it had done for many other countries already. Expressing his appreciation, Mr. Trudeau said, if the world managed to conquer COVID-19, it would be significantly because of India's tremendous pharmaceutical capacity and Mr. Modi's leadership in sharing this capacity with the world. Mr. Modi thanked Mr. Trudeau for his sentiments.
India continues to provide COVID-19 vaccines to the neighbours and the developing nations. Barbados and Dominica have joined the list of countries that receives India-made COVID-19 vaccine under the Vaccine Maitri initiative of the Government of India. Many countries have evinced interest in accessing vaccines from India, which is the global hub for vaccine production. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already stated that India's vaccine production and delivery capacity would be used for the benefit of all humanity in fighting this crisis. Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Skerrit, thanked Prime Minister Modi for India's swift and positive response for considering their request on merit and equality basis.
One would have thought and understood that in a global pandemic such as this, a nation's size and might would have been the primary consideration. But it is to the credit of Prime Minister Modi that our request was considered on merit and the equality of our people was recognized. I'd like to take this opportunity once again to express my heartfelt thanks and appreciation to Prime Minister Modi, his government, and the citizens of India.
The News Services Division of All India Radio, in its bilingual live phone-in program tonight, will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. Dean, King Edward Memorial Hospital, Mumbai, Dr. Hemant Deshmukh, will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free telephone number 1-800-115767. You can also ask questions on the telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This program will also be available on our website, newsonair.com, and on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates.
The government has conveyed to Twitter that the manner in which Twitter officially allows fake, unverified, anonymous and automated bot accounts to be operated on its platform raises doubts about its commitment to transparency and healthy conversation on this platform. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, in a statement, said that lawfully passed orders are binding on any business entity and they must be obeyed immediately. It said if they are executed days later, it becomes meaningless. Secretary Electronics and IT Ajay Prakash Sahani expressed his deep disappointment to Twitter leadership about the manner in which Twitter has unwillingly, grudgingly and with great delay complied with the substantial parts of the order. On the request of Twitter, Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology held a virtual interaction with Ms. Monique Meshe, Vice President Global Public Policy, and Mr. Jim Baker, Deputy General Counsel and Vice President Legal, yesterday. He reminded Twitter that in India, its constitution and laws are supreme and it is expected that responsible entities not only reaffirm but remain committed to compliance to the law of the land. The Secretary took up the issue of using a hashtag on farmers' genocide with Twitter executives and expressed strong displeasure on the way Twitter acted after an emergency order was issued to remove this hashtag and content related to that. In our series on Union Budget 2021-22, today we bring you key announcements for women and child development this year. The government has proposed a sum of 24,435 crore rupees for the Women and Child Development Ministry in the Union Budget 2021-22. The allocation is 16.31% higher than revised estimates of over 21,000 crore rupees for financial year 2020-21. Out of 24,435 crore rupees, the highest amount has been allocated to the newly announced Mission Poshan 2.0 scheme. In her budget speech, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced to launch Mission Poshan 2.0 with a view to strengthen nutritional content, delivery, outreach and outcome.
To strengthen nutritional content, delivery, outreach and outcome, we will merge the Supplementary Nutrition Program and the Poshan Abhiyan and launch the Mission Poshan 2.0. We shall adopt an intensified strategy to improve nutritional outcomes across 112 aspirational districts.
More from our correspondent.
The government has allocated 20,105 crore rupees for the Mission Poshan scheme in the budget. It is an umbrella scheme which will cover the Integrated Child Development Services ICDS, Anganwadi Services, Poshan Abhiyan, Scheme for Adolescent Girls and the National Creche Scheme. The total amount for the social services sector, which includes nutrition and social security and welfare, has been increased from nearly 2,412 crore rupees in 2020-2021 to around 3,576 crore rupees in 2021-2022. Under Mission Shakti, which is a mission for protection and empowerment for women, a budgetary provision of 3,109 crore rupees have been made. Besides, 900 crore rupees have been proposed for Mission Vatsalya for child protection and welfare services in the budget. Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
The government will today launch the website of the India Toy Fair 2021. The website will be launched jointly by Minister of Textiles Smriti Irani, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal and Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank in New Delhi at 5 p.m.
In Afghanistan, An earthquake of 4.9 magnitude on the Richter scale hit the Hindu Kush area early this morning, about 36 kilometers south of Faizabad. According to the National Center of Seismology, the earthquake occurred at 4:01 a.m. Indian Standard Time with a depth of 97 kilometers. Further details are awaited.
In Uttar Pradesh, the government announced the exam sheet of Madhyamik Shiksha Parishad UP Board for 2021 for classes 10th and 12th yesterday. Our correspondent reports that over 56 lakh students have applied to appear in both the class 10th and 12th exams this year, with a total of 29,94,312 students in high school and 26,09,501 students in intermediate exam.
And now let us take a look at the weather for today. National capital Delhi experienced moderate fog in the morning. Minimum temperature recorded was 10 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 29 degrees. Mumbai is expected to have mainly clear sky with temperature varying between 21 to 35 degrees Celsius. Chennai may witness partly cloudy sky. The temperature will fluctuate between 23 and 30 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will see mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 16 degrees Celsius while the maximum may go up to 30 degrees. Jammu and Srinagar will also witness mainly clear sky. In Jammu, the minimum temperature was 10 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 23 degrees. In Srinagar, minimum temperature was minus 3 degrees Celsius while it is expected to rise up to 13 degrees Celsius. Leh will see partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature was minus 10 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 6 degrees. Gilgit will have partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between minus 1 and 16 degrees Celsius. However, Muzaffarabad will have mainly clear sky. The temperature will vary from 5 to 21 degrees Celsius. Dehradun will have mainly clear sky and will witness temperature rising from 8 degrees Celsius to 24 degrees Celsius. Chandigarh will have partly cloudy sky. The temperature is likely to hover between 10 and 26 degrees Celsius. Hyderabad witnessed the minimum temperature of around 16 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 32 degrees. In Ahmedabad, the minimum temperature was around 13 degrees and the maximum will be around 32 degrees. In Patna, the temperature will move from 12 to 26 degrees, and in Guwahati, the minimum temperature was 12 degrees Celsius, maximum will be 29 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. The top story in most dailies today refers to the joint pullback at the LAC. After 9 months, India-China start disengagement in Pangong Tso, headlines the Times of India. China announces synchronized Pangong disengagement. Rajnath's statement today, reports the Indian Express. US welcomes India's emergence as leading power, concerned on China, writes Hindustan Times. ITBP teams Army intensify efforts to rescue 30-35 men trapped in Tapovan, reports the Asian Age. Overused JCBs at tunnel ineffective, writes the Tribune. The Pioneer quotes the Prime Minister as saying that the Kisan stir is sacred, but Andolan Jeevi hijacked it. Walkout by opposition as Prime Minister says government respects farmers, writes the Asian Age. And finally, the Pioneer reports that an 18th century idol of Ma Annapurna, stolen a century ago from a temple in Varanasi, is to be returned to India by Canada.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for bringing investment and new technologies for strong agricultural sector. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to make statement in Rajya Sabha today on present situation in eastern Ladakh. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha to resume general discussion on union budget. Election Commission team to visit Puducherry today to review poll preparedness. Government tells Twitter lawfully passed orders are binding on any business entity and must be obeyed. Rescue and search operation for people trapped inside the tunnel at Tapovan area in Chamoli district continues unabated. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.